Hello and welcome to this week's Fiverific Live Craft and Chat, where we're choosing which craft project will we be doing. I've gone for the full, eerie look. Let me know if you can see me. If you can hear me, I'm doing so many things a bit different on the back tack end. So, bear with me. And I've just realized that there's something really important I didn't do, which was I don't have YouTube open. So I'm just going to quickly jump in and do that while you all say hello and, let me know where you're watching from. That would be awesome. There we go. It's opening up. It's happening. It's alive. It is alive? Please tell me it's alive. It is alive. Okay, that's awesome. That's so good. Okay. Well, the things like we're focusing on the wrong things this morning, let me tell you. So it is our crafty choices stream. Crafty choices? So it is. Kelly says, gosh, it looks like nighttime, which I know it isn't. No, it's not. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I worked really hard to get it gloomy and like candlelit, and it's all those things. You guys know the drill. It is. So last week we had a discussion over changing up the craft that we're going to work on. Don't worry, I will turn more lights on for when we craft. I can't craft in this little light. So we had a discussion about the craft that we're going to be doing. So I've decided, with your input and the Zoomy Girls' input, to expand out the dice roll game to incorporate more projects. So I'm not sure if you've had a chance, but I did put rules into the description. Okay, so basically what will happen is we will roll a dice. That dice will determine which of 8 things we will do. Okay, now one of those things is the mosaic blanket. If the mosaic blanket is not chosen, I will dice roll 3 times to choose 3 colors to work on over the week. My job is to get those done for next week so that those of you that are playing along on the mosaic at home aren't missing out. Your project hasn't stopped. We're just doing it a little bit differently. So there will always be at least 3 colors chosen, okay? Now, there are 8 things to choose from, and I'll bring up a graphic for that in just a minute. But then there's also a new voting option, so that if we do roll an 8, you guys will get to vote on the project that I work on. But we also now have veto options. You know how sometimes we're like, oh, it's not, my brain's just stopped. I don't want her to work on that project. I really wanted to work on this other project. So we now have the option that super chatting can veto a roll. So if you are a current member, you can use one of your member chats, so one of your green member chats. Otherwise, if you are not a current member, you can go down and click, and I believe it's a yellow super chat and above. I've chosen colors rather than specific dollar amounts, just because I know different places have different dollars. So it was just easier to choose colors. So if you choose the yellow and above to super chat, you'll get a re-roll. And I will work on that project for at least 15 minutes. If nobody else super chats, and that's the project for the rest of the stream, right? Now, the other option is if you super chat orange and above, which is a bit more, but orange and above, you don't just get a re-roll, you also get to choose. So in the comment area, write what you would like if you super chat orange and above. So then I will work on that project for 30 minutes or the rest of the stream if nobody else super chats. So it's a bit of fun. But in the meantime, we're going to roll the dice. We're going to see which project we're going to work on. I'm going to bring in There we go. These are our projects that we have got for today. I'll be changing this out. We'll always have a frog. We'll have the crochet mosaic for some time yet, and we'll always have a vote. Okay, so it is. The others will change out because I will still work on them through the week because these are my actual projects that I want to work on. So the thing is now, other than the mosaic blanket, only working the colors of the dice rolls that we choose. The rest can be worked on. So next week we could have some different choices of projects, but I'll try to always keep it, here. This is my excuse to have like 14 whips, right? Okay, so I'm just going to jump back into the chat here and have a squizzy look. I'm really glad that you can see and hear me. That's awesome. Good morning, everybody. Red Hooked, hello. How are you going? Leanne is in the house saying hello to everybody. Hi, Leanne. Gamer Widows says, morning, dark and moody lighting. Nice. I had a lot of fun setting up all the lighting for this. So, lighting is my passion. Good morning, Witchcraft. I love it. Yeah, I kind of came up with it and then it was like, oh my God, it's Halloween this weekend. Like, it all fits. It all fits. Abby definitely wants me to work on her blanket. When I was telling her about this, she was like, why don't you just work on my blanket? Like, just work on my blanket. There are so many good options and they're all here except for one. Oh my gosh, I really hope I don't get the one that's not here and then I got to run out and go and grab it. Let me, your image is out of sync. Oh, I'm sorry, Francis. I can't really do anything about that. Maybe refresh, because on my side, they're in sync. I don't think there's anything I can do from here. I've done some stuff. I've clicked some buttons. I don't know if that'll make a difference or not. So we'll see. Oh dear. I just heard Abby giggle, right? I just hear this like little chuckle from her room and now I've just spotted this do my blanket. Unfortunately, Abby, you chose a blue super chat. All right. Oh, Kathy says it's good here. Maybe just a refresh might help. Maybe a refresh will help. Possibly. Yeah. I mean, and I am saying, I have changed up some stuff. So I'm running Ecamm into StreamYard into YouTube. I've got some extra stuff happening. So, we'll see how it goes. I didn't hear your super chat lecture before. That's right, Abby. If you missed out on on the rules, they are in the description, so you can check out the description. And while you're down looking at the rules in the description, you could totally smush the like button. And also jump in. And if you are not subscribed to this channel, I would love it if you could subscribe to this channel. I am sneakily getting closer to 10,000, which was my lifetime goal for this channel. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy about it. All right. Should we roll the dice? Let's roll the dice. Let's jump in. Here we go. I'm going to choose a dice. Oh, that's very slow. I know why that's slow. I know why that's slow. Because I opted for a setting there this morning. And I'm like, I wonder why I don't use that one. Because it slows down the feed. All right, let's have a look here. Our first project today will be number 5. And number 5 is the knit knee-high socks. So I will get the socks out. But before I get the socks out, what I will do, so actually I'll grab those before I forget. There they are, right there. I have the knee-high socks. I will roll the colors for the mosaic blanket, okay? Abby said, this is rigged. I had my money on 6. Okay, so I'm going to jump back down here to this one, and we'll roll the 3 colors for the mosaic blanket. So we've got a 2, a 4, and a 7. Okay, I'll write those down. What's the date today? 26. Two, 4, 7. Okay, so they are all good to go. So, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I love the eeriness. I really do. I really do love like this. But it doesn't, like the webcam needs more light. So I'm going to have to go in and just, you know, add some more light in to make it better. So bear with me while I add a light. Whoops. There we go. There we go. We've got a bit more light so we can work on our project. And we want that one there. Standard. Alrighty, so this project, which I can't remember the name of it, which feels really dumb that I can't remember the name of it. Do I have... Oh, I do. Good. It's been a little while since I've worked on it. Kelly, would you mind sharing a link to the pattern? I know you know this one. Oh, I'm all tangled up. I don't like it. Alrighty. So this was some 2 at a time socks. The pattern actually says that we should be able to get a pair of knee-high socks out of 1 ball. Now, I'm dubious, okay? I'm dubious. So I actually have 3 balls of this colorway, which it's just a Motor Vera Noir. It's nothing exciting. It's just something I grabbed from Spotlight about 5 years ago. So I don't know if you can get it now. I'm just going to try and... The webcam is not synced up. So let me just see if I can fix that. There we go. Alrighty. I've got the right ball. All right, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to cope with changing projects every so often, depending on what happens in the chat? Okay. Thank you. The basic knee-high socks. It is a free pattern. It's wonderful. I'm up to a rounding section, which is why I'm happy to do it on a live stream. You guys know how I feel about oh, what colors did they choose? Okay, so let me have a look here. Dice rolling. So 2 is Morpho, 4 is Galar, and 7 is Duckling. Okay, sorry about that. So Morpho, Galar, and Duckling. I vote for the kitty. Let me look here. Yeah, I'm having a bit of fun with the graphics. So, you know. But yeah, I'm like, I was sort of sitting here and I'm like, okay, which projects can I bring on camera to work on? Because you all know that I don't like it when we don't have permission from the designers. But I'm actually up to, like, some of them don't have like proper patterns. They're just like a technique done over and over again. So there I'm fine with. This one's a proper pattern. It's a free pattern, but I am up to a section where I'm just knitting around and around. I'm just doing the foot and I've got a fair ways to go. It might come a time where I need to stop and change projects. So we'll dice roll and move on to another project when I get to a point where I can't work on it anymore without giving away any of the pattern information. Does that make sense? Because these are not tutorials in the live streams. These are us hanging out and getting together and having fun, working on our craft. So I'm now, deep breath, relaxed, So let me know in the chat what you're working on today. I am working on these knee-high socks because the dice told me we're on number 5 for now. If you're just joining the stream, the rules of the stream are in the description below. If you need me to clarify anything, please ask, and I will do my best to, help where I can. Change yarns. Don't let them cross over. Don't cross the streams. Francis says, so you are knitting both socks in one go. How does that work? Okay, so I'm just going to pop these needles out. So basically, it's like knitting in the round, right? So this sock is being knit with this ball of yarn, okay? Knitting that in the round. And this sock is being knit with this ball of yarn, knitting it in the round. So what happens is you'll get to like a bit where you would normally turn and start doing the sort of the back side of the sock, like you've got, your instep and your foot. So when you would turn to do the back side of the sock, you actually jump in and do the same side of the other sock with the other yarn. There's some great tutorials out there for how to set up 2 at a time socks. That's what you're looking for. That's the terminology, 2 at a time socks. So definitely look it up. I find that when I make my socks 2 at a time, and these are 2 at a time toe up socks, so I can try these on as I go. But I find that when I do them 2 at a time, I'm more likely to end up with a pair. Does anybody else here just do one sock and go, yep, I'm done, and just have a pile of odd socks like that they wear together because, Talia says she's putting groceries away soon, so she can't do anything just yet. Freaky Geek's been learning nail binding. Oh, that is awesome. But frogging's not fun. No, I can imagine it would be. Would not be. 3 times 23 centimeters square lap blankie for Dad, sewn together for a V. Okay, that's that I would love to see a photo of that, honestly. And the nail binding, whatever you're working on, go and pop it over in the Fibrific Fun Zone. I don't think we've got a thread there yet today. I didn't put one in because I'm slack and I was playing with lights. But just pop it in and, first one in, everyone else jumps on theirs and adds theirs to comments. Working on my granddaughter's folklore cardigan. Oh, the cables. Keeps me on my toes. Working on the same blanket. About 2/3 done. Yep. Awesome. You're a powerhouse when it comes to these blankets. That's so cool. That makes sense. Oh, I'm glad. I'm sort of trying to sit here think, how do I describe this? But awesome. 2 at a time socks for the win. No second sock syndrome. The struggle is real. Oh, look. For me, absolutely. I know some people are totally 100% don't get second sock syndrome. They're just like, okay, first sock's done. Let's jump into the second sock and get it done. La, 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 la. And that's the end of it. For me, it's just like, oh my God, now I have to do another one. I mean, what? I like socks. I like hand knit socks. I like that I can make them fit my feet properly, and I've got weird shaped feet. So being able to make socks that are like short, because I have tiny feet, but wide, and then a narrow heel, I'm like, thank you, I'll make those myself, except I don't want to make them myself all the time because it's a pain. Artag's making a beanie. That is awesome. Oh, Leanne, hot glue guns do that. Talk to Abby about hot glue guns. Oh, Kelly, you're a champion. There is a thread in the fun zone. Thank you. Vampire's up to the next repeat on the toolie. Red Hook's trying to come up with a baby blanket for a girl. Okay. Nice. Nice. Francis got Squishmail. Oh, Francis, I'm happy for you guys to show your Squishmail over in the fun zone as well, honestly. I can then live vicariously through. In the chat here, who has had a chance to go and watch my Hobie haul video? Let me know in the chat. It's weird because I hate crochet 2 of something, but I don't mind knitting 2 socks. Okay. Well, because it's like, oh, did I just, nope, I did the right thing. Good, good, good. It's like, oh, did I trash something in my socks? Maybe, maybe not. Next, we're onto the... Oh, and the other thing I do, and I don't know if everybody does it, but this is something that I do. Because my stitch markers constantly fall off, I actually pop a lockable stitch marker in the front side of the first sock so that I know when I'm back at the beginning of the round, okay? So yeah, that's why I do this. It's just so I know where I am and I don't have to worry about a stitch marker dropping off, because I can't tell you how many times I'm like, where am I up to in these socks? I have no idea, because I've lost the stitch marker. Oh, yes. I always have to double check which yarn for which sock, because I'm that person who would trash it. Let me have a look here. Abby says she didn't watch it. Freaky did and left a comment. Thank you, Freaky. Kathy watched it. Chintamani said that the Hobie stuff looked interesting. Talia's looking forward to Advent season. I didn't order any Advents this year, so I don't have any Advents coming, so I can't do any unboxings. Leslie loved the Hobie haul video. Awesome. Holly watched it. That's okay. I don't mind if you don't leave comments. Sometimes you don't need to leave a comment. And Kelly says, me, I watched it and then, of course, had to make a purchase. Yes. Oh, this is actually a great piece of advice. I use a low temperature glue gun because when, not if, I get glue all over me, it hurts, but it doesn't blister. That's an excellent point. I wonder if, like, do you have to buy specific glue for your low heat glue gun? Because if you don't have to buy specific glue sticks, I don't understand why they don't just lower the temperature on all the glue guns, because there's no reason for it to be, you know, 3rd degree burning hot, is there? Like, I mean, I'm not a big glue gun user. I'm probably not the best person to have a rant about glue guns, except for the fact that, you know, I've had to listen to Abby when she gets hot glue on herself. From a mother's perspective of listening to your child get upset. Knitspin Girls says, the Advents I wanted didn't happen this year or I missed out. Oh, yeah. Oh, you do need the low heat glue sticks. Okay. Alrighty. That makes sense. Talia says they don't interchange. Guess me how I know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let's have a look here. I've just realized something. There we go. I'll pop that there, and then I can close that. Alrighty. We are on to the next sock. Next sock. Oops. Is it? Oh man, there's yarn buff. Oh no, I remember. Oh, there was terrible yarn buff and I had to rewind it. So, was it this one that I rewound? Maybe. Maybe not. That's okay. That's not a knot. I'm like, oh my god, I've just made a knot. It's not a knot. It's just a piece of fluff that's moving up and down. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I just move that one to over there. I like working on these where I can move the yarn around. Was a lot of pretty squish. Yes, there was a lot of pretty squish. I'm working really hard and I have not started a project with any of them yet. I've been looking at projects. I've been deciding which ones are going to be used for which. There's no 100% definitive choices yet, but I've got shortlists for all of them. I cannot tell you off the top of my head. I would need to go to Ravelry and have a look. But yes, the yarn was just unbelievably good. I was, you know, when you're like, oh, I'll grab these when they're on special. Hopefully they'll be okay. I hope I can use them. That kind of attitude. I had bought Cotton Kings before, like the graduating cotton cakes, and I'd used those before and I was happy with those. And the yarn that I made my Hohi Locatelli jumper with was from Hobie as well. But I hadn't touched some of these other ones. So I was just like, oh, is it gonna, like, you know what it's like? It's a risk. If you haven't touched it and you don't know anybody else who's bought it, to get like proper advice from, or you just don't think to ask anybody else. That was probably more my case, is I just didn't ask anyone else. I just went through and ordered some stuff because I was like, oh man, I don't want to miss out on this color and I don't want to miss out on this color. So I'm like, look, I'm just going to risk it. I'll risk it for the biscuit. And so, yeah, so I did. And I was just pleasantly surprised by how much I love all of them. I did buy Smart Yarn. Graduated. Graduating's probably not the right word for it, but yeah. Knitspin Girl says, yes, different glue sticks. You can use the high temp sticks in a low gun, but takes longer to melt. But low temp sticks in a high temp gun will burn. Okay. I'm assuming that the standard sticks that you buy from a $2 store would be for a high heat gun. I've never thought to check the packaging. Smart Yarn with qualifications. Yes. Oh my gosh, they need little graduation caps on their yarn balls, or like on their tags. I'm like, oh my gosh, my throat's getting sore. Hang on, I do have something for that in my cup. I am the goblin again today. So, drink goblin. Cup number 1 is licorice root tea from T2. Cup number 2 is Lady Grey tea from Twinings, I think. Cup number 3 is just water. So beverage goblin strikes again. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to defend myself on that one. I am officially a beverage goblin. I've realized I concentrate a lot harder when I knit than when I crochet. Sorry about that. Maybe that's a consideration when people are voting. Okay, she concentrates harder. Oh, Louis is off. He's off on an adventure. I've got extra cameras here ready to be set up just in case we get spindling or something like that. It's been a lot of fun getting all this ready. Holly says I'm frequently a beverage goblin at work. Yeah. I just realized my T2 tea is getting a bit cold, so I might have to drink a bit more of that before it gets cold. I don't have a top up for it. Vampire says I have coffee from an hour ago and water from today. Awesome. I would probably drink that coffee fast. Can I ask a question in the chat? If your cup of coffee goes cold, do you just scull it and then make a fresh one, or do you tip it down the sink and waste perfectly good coffee that happened to go cold because you ignored its existence? Sue says, could you knit-splain how you're doing 2 socks at once, please? I can do that again. Exciting things in my household this week. My boy finishes his HSC exams and got a job. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Congratulations, Francis. I just scull it. I just did. Yeah. Me too. I'm not wasting the coffee. Okay, so we'll knit-splain, sort of, 2 at a time socks. I'll find a video to share. I'll make a thing over in the fun zone, a video on how to set it up so that you can start, because I can't really explain that. I actually sit down and watch the video every time. So I'll grab that video and pop that in the fun zone for how to start up your 2 at a time toe-up socks. But basically, you work across half of one sock, which is what I'm doing now. This is half of my first sock because I put a marker on the first sock so that I know where I'm at in the rounds. Like, did I finish a full round of both socks? I don't know. So if we're half of the first sock, okay, and then once we get over to there, which I will in a second, rewarm the coffee. I don't rewarm the coffee. I just drink it cold. I don't like microwaved coffee. I think microwave coffee tastes weird, and I'd rather drink it cold than microwave it. And microwave tea is even worse. Oh my gosh, they're both hard nose from me. I just drink them cold. I drink cold tea as well. That's the other thing. I don't just do this for coffee. I do it for tea. You know, unless I don't know how long ago it was made. Like if I know that it's been sitting next to me, I made it. If I don't know how long ago something was made, I will then sink it. But if I know when it was made and, you know, it wasn't ridiculous hours ago. Okay, so we've knit across the first half of the first sock. We drop the yarn from its ball. Then we bring over the stitches for the first half of the second sock. And we pick up the yarn from its ball. And then we knit across the front of the second sock. So I also double check that there's no crossed over, like I haven't accidentally crossed over the yarns and somehow the socks are joined together now. I tend to double check that quite often. I'm that person who will do that. So I tend to double check it a lot because I'm paranoid that I'll do it again. Because you basically have to tink back the whole sock, undo it, undo the join, and then knit it back up again. Because if you just cut it, that's still working yarn and there's normally not enough to weave it in anywhere on both sides of it. So you have to tink it back, untwist it. So I try really hard to not accidentally overlap the two yarns. So which is why I try to keep one on one side and one on the other side. It does get hard because you do turn the socks. So they will, you know, flip. Okay, so we're coming up to finishing the first half of the first sock. I've seen, there's a guy I've seen, he uses a really ridiculously long circular and he will knit like 10 socks at a time using this method. There's no limit. Like I'm making 2 with this colorway. You could add in, like as long as, I figure as long as you're doing a simple pattern that you can keep track of, you could really do this for any number of socks. So you just want to make sure that you've got your yarn. This is yarn buffed. So I had to roll it into a cute ball, all right? Because the yarn buff was terrible. Okay, so make sure we've got our next. This is the second side of the second sock. Make sure we're getting into the right stitch here. All right, I'll just check the chat. Oh yeah, I'm with you, Knit Spin Girls, absolutely. Yeah, I was doing a 2 at a time pair, absolutely, yep. There's 2 socks, there's 1 sock there and there's 1 sock here. And look, I'm going to be really honest, I'm not very good at socks, okay? I end up with a lot of problems. Little jogs down the side, little ladders, all sorts of things. I don't get perfect socks. But I enjoy the process mostly, every now and again, when I feel like it. And I like having the socks, and I don't care that they're not perfect. If I want perfect socks, I'm going to get someone else to do it, all right? And I am getting better. As I practice more, I get better. I make less of the mistakes. I become more confident to try new techniques and new skills and things like that. So, you know, I do get better. And it's like anything. If your first pair is probably not going to be perfect. It could be. You could be like that rare butterfly. I am not the rare butterfly. My pairs are not perfect. I can show you how terrible they are in just 1 second. There we go. Look, I've got very visible line down here. and you know, I can stretch it out, and you can see how bad it is. And there's ways to deal with it and ways to stop it. But as I get further up in the sock, it tends to just stop doing it, and I don't understand what I'm doing differently. So yeah. Now let me look, Leanne. You've chosen a yellow super chat, so that's a re-roll. So I will put this in a position so that they won't come undone. Oh my gosh. Okay. Here we go. The yellow super chat. So this is the yellow. This is not the orange. Is that right? I don't even know. Yes. Yeah. No. This is the orange. You've chosen the orange. The yellow is brighter. Okay. Abby. What? Leanne super chatted the right amount to choose a project, and guess which project she chose? Not mine. Yours. Oh, thanks, Leanne. Abby's yelled out, "Oh, thanks, Leanne." I didn't know how much the super chat, and I couldn't be bothered reading your thing. Yeah. So I just wasted $2. You did waste $2, yeah. Thanks for that, Abby. So yes, so before I move on, this is self-striping yarn. So I don't have to do any of the work for any of the color changing. That's all happening for me directly in the yarn. I absolutely love yarn that has a fun self-stripe. And this one I think has a really cute self-stripe. I did mess around a little bit at the start to make sure they both started within a stitch or two of each other so that my stripes match up. You don't have to do that. I did that. So it says it looks like you might have to start your heels, so it's probably well timed. Yeah, I'll need to give them a try on and see where I'm up to. So let's pop that back in there. We need to set the 30-minute timer because this one, the orange super chat guarantees 30 minutes of work minimum. So if nobody else super chats, we keep doing it. But if somebody else super chats, we have to know that this one gets 30 minutes because it's a big super chat. You get to have big one. So Abby's blanket is here. Abby's out there cheering. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have moved on to the waffle blanket in the Karen cotton cakes. I'm not sure which ball is attached. Not that one. Okay, so socks can go back over onto the trolley. Oh my gosh, this weird but fun, all right? Like I just was getting into the groove of the socks and now I'm not. Okay, I've got to work out where I'm up to. Where is the stitches? Okay, let's find the yarn and see where it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alrighty, so this is at Leanne's request. Oh, you can hear her cheer? Oh, that's awesome. Alrighty, now let me just work out where I'm up to here. Okay. So Leanne, let me look here, 10:38. Alrighty, this one goes to at least 11:08, so 30 minutes. Chintelle says that she's put a link in the put a picture in the fun zone of how the blanket works. It's designed to be wheelchair friendly. Oh, I love that. That's awesome because not so many blankets just aren't, right? They get caught in the wheels or they drag on the floor. So this blanket that I'm working on is just a straight waffle stitch blanket. It's nothing tricky. It's a little time consuming and it's a bit of a yarn eater. But it was Abby's request and it's been something she's been wanting to make me for her a long, long time. It is waffly-ish on both sides. So this is the back side. And that's the front. So the waffle's probably more the front, but the back is still textured and nice. Does that make sense? So this is the front, and we're currently working on the back. Now, I did forget to bring Abby's starred comment up. So there's Abby's there. She wanted her waffle done, but she hadn't read the rules. So now she knows if she wants the waffle done, it's going to cost her $10 Australian. That's kind of funny. Alrighty, this is fun. Oh, my brain's like doing a total hiccup. I'm like, oh, next project. Yeah, so on this side, it's 2 front posts and 1 standard treble. Not a back post, just a treble. So 2 front posts and then just a treble into the top of the next stitch. And then on the other side, it's a bit different. It's kind of like the opposite. It's 1 front post and 2 standard trebles. I'm sure you could Google waffle stitch blanket. You get like a million different patterns for different sizes. But the actual, stitch repeat is usually pretty well the same. I love the look it gives. Oh, me too. And it feels amazing. And I totally understand why she wants it. We're doing this one out of the Karen Cotton Cakes. It's a cotton acrylic blend. So it actually feels quite nice as well. And again, it's another one where the actual color changes are doing all the work. I do try to choose the next color to kind of work, if that makes sense. Like, if this one ends on a light brown, I try to find one that starts either on a light brown or on the next color. It's not always possible. Yeah. Which reminds me, when this one runs out, that other ball, I thought it was attached to this project, but it's not. It may not be the next ball for the project, so I might have to pop out and grab the rest of the yarn, which is out in the living room. Kind of bland colours compared to the previous. Yeah. See, that other project, the Mosaic blanket, that one's totally out of my comfort zone for colours. Like, it's so vivid and bright. This sort of sea glass kind of tones, these are more my comfort zone, honestly. And hey, Russell, how you going? Good to see you here. They're good for donations as they prefer a machine washable acrylic yarn, so the cheapest nice colours work perfectly. There you go. Okay. I've got my licorice root tea to give my throat a bit of a coat. We've been having some chats in some groups, and I realised that I hadn't been making it, and I had an entire, brand new container of it, and I just hadn't cracked it open. So this morning, cracked it open, made a new tea, and yeah, I can feel that it feels nice. But it's nearly finished, and I only made the one. So I'll be moving on to my more standard tea afterwards, which is my Lady Grey with a dash of milk, which will probably undo everything that the T2 licorice legs is doing for my throat. So, yeah. Calming tones. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely calming tones. Yeah, like if you're donating your blankets to charities or to bigger organizations, you definitely need to be considering how it needs to be cared for. Can it go in the washing machine? Can it go in a dryer? If your yarns cannot go in a washing machine or a dryer, I don't recommend you making them for charities, because all these places, all their stuff goes through washing machines and dryers. So you need to sort of consider the giftee. If you're giving this to a friend who will absolutely hand wash it and lay it flat in the shade to dry it, then sure, make them something that requires that kind of care. But for me, all my blankets go washing machine and dryer here. So I tend to make my blankets out of cotton where I can, or acrylic. I love wool, I love natural fibers, but I'm not going to go to the effort myself. I know me. I know what I'm like. And if I've got to wash it, then I need to make sure I can wash it properly. And for my brain, it needs to go in the washing machine to be washed properly. And then, you know, heavy wet blankets on a clothesline quite often get stretched out of shape, so I do prefer to just pop them straight in a dryer. Again, probably not the best, but that's just what I do. Adding a splash of tequila, probably a dash early for me in the tequila. I do like good tequila, but just a dash early. It's while I've got it set to nice and eerie and gloomy here, I have actually just put on a bigger light. But it is still morning here. I like wool for the heat, but dang, it makes me itch so much if it touches the skin. Yeah, look, this is the thing, right? You've kind of got to balance things out to make it so it works for you. There's no point in going to the effort of making something that takes 11 billion years to make, only to realize you can't use it because it's, you know, it's got all these other things that's, you know, that's happening. You've got to just allow for it. Where am I up to here? We're up to the... Oh, I need to chain. Then do that. Okay. And then front post stitch. There we go. But yeah, so you've just kind of got to work out what it is that you can look after and you can care for and that you can use. Because if you can't use it, what's the point? Kathy says, for my blankets that I give to charities, I have a tag that that has care instructions. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Loving this Halloween themed border. Yeah, I've had, like, you know, I've had some fun. Like, if I can go like this and you can see a bit more of the border. There you go. It's very spooky. Very spooky. Like I said, I was having some fun with setting all this up. I don't, you know, like I normally set things up so they're cute. This is setting it up to be a bit more eerie. And I'll tell you the other thing I'm really loving. I'm loving that the color's not blowing out the camera and that what I can see here is what I see there. I love that. It's so calming for me. It's just good. It's just good. Yeah, I think we're about 10 balls down on Abby's blanket and about another 10 to go. I think I've worked it. It might be another 6 to go. I don't know. It feels like a lot. It feels like there's still a lot to go on this one. Dumped the coffee, went to pick it up, noticed it was moving. Oh no! Yeah, that's a hard no. That's right. Sorry, if my coffee now has added protein, I'm out. I'm out. That's so funny. Oh goodness. Abby is in there like with a little smile on her face, knowing that her blanket's being worked on. I'm sure. Either that or like the foot tapping, like hurry up, come on, get moving. They're my two options. I've been sourcing a costume for a Ziphiel. I know who. Yeah, I can't say the word, but I know who you mean. And her friend is dressing as Cowley. Awesome. Hey Jennifer, great to see you. So, in a little while, I'll let you know when the 30 minutes is up on this one. So if you do want to force a re-roll or a veto, you can check the rules and how to do that. And you can see what the options are. But we're going to be working on this one for at least another 20 minutes. Encouraging that I get to just sit back on this one a little bit and just chill. It's a very basic, but as I said, it's easy to do, but it is a little yarn hungry. I just, like you said, you know, you should have gone outside to dye in a puddle. StreamYard, which is the software we're streaming with today, their little dude is a duck. And so this is Puddles, the duck. So my brain went straight to Puddles. Get back in your mug. I know you can't see, but Puddles is up there sitting in that coffee cup in the back corner there with his little face on it. So yeah, so for those of you interested in the streaming side of things, today I'm trying something a little different. I have Ecamm running the major graphics, and I'm bringing Ecamm into StreamYard as a virtual camera. So I get to have all my standard Ecamm overlays that I love very, very much, but I get to have it in StreamYard, which I prefer to stream from StreamYard because I like how the comments come up and how the super chats and the members chats and everything are the right colors and that sort of part of it. So I get to have the best of both worlds by bringing both in together. Yeah, this one's lovely, isn't it, Jennifer? So this is the colorway. It does have its name on here somewhere. I remembered seeing it. Beach Glass. The colorway is called Beach Glass. But I very much like it. It's very calming. It is very beachy. Very soothing tones. I don't know if it's the color Abby would have chosen for herself, but I managed to do a yarn trade and scored myself 10 balls of this colorway. So we went out and we bought a few more to make it so there was enough for a bigger blanket. And but just in the same colorway. I don't think you can choose batches with these yarns or dye lots. I think you just get to choose the color. Yeah. Oh man, can you imagine lifting that cup to your face and then realizing, like, no, that's a hard no from me. Now the downside of using StreamYard is I don't have my dice roll audio. So, oh, but one thing I do have, and I forgot to use it both for Abby and for Leanne, which is thank you for your super chats. I can use that here because I'm going through Ecamm. My brain was like, oh, on StreamYard you can't use your graphics. But I'm using Ecamm too, so I get to use my graphics. Audio sync is much better than I expected with streaming into a streamer. Oh, there you go. I'm glad to hear that. It's probably not perfect, but it'll do. It'll do the job. There we go. Oh, I think I need another sip of my drink before it gets cold. It's getting cold. I'm just trying to beat it. It's not quite stone cold yet, but it's close. Oh, it's pretty good. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Russell. Some days are better than others. I was streaming with StreamYard over on my other channel on Monday. And while the comments were coming up and down perfectly on YouTube, on my end here, it was like they were taking forever. So it was just like, it was really distracting, like, and awkward. And they were like I would press the button to bring it on screen and it would show up pretty well straight away on YouTube. Like there's a slight delay from what I can see. But I'd be seeing it on the screen over there and it still hadn't showed up on my screen. So it was just really frustrating. I'm like, oh, please just be a glitch. And then I've come in today and everything's working. So I'm just like, oh, yes. Have I made socks from cotton? No, I have not. It's one of those things where socks need to have elasticity, like they have to have elasticity. Socks are technically a negative ease item, which means that you make the sock slightly smaller than the foot so it stretches over the foot and fits perfectly. You don't want it too tight because you don't want it uncomfortable, but you need it just tight enough that it stays, right? With cotton, like pure cotton, there's nothing in there that'll help with that, and cotton stretches. Now, I know that there are some companies out there that make a cotton sock yarn, and it is a cotton elastine blend. And I haven't gotten my hands on it, and I'd love to try it because I would love some cotton socks in 4-ply cotton or smaller. But yeah, it looks good. I believe Peyton's, I think it's Peyton's Croy is a cotton elastine. I don't think that particular yarn is available in Australia. I've never seen it here, and I can wholesale buy directly from Peyton's, and it's not on the list. So yeah. Morrison's son has Regia cotton socks yarn, so it made me wonder how it would be. As long as there's something in there other than, like, if it's pure cotton, I would not. But if there's something else in there, like an elastine or a wool blend or something that has some sort of elasticity to it, I'd give it a try. Oh, Florida, you've seen those delayed comments on many lives. Okay. It was my very first experience with it. I'd never seen it happen, and it had never happened to me before. So, yeah, I do know that StreamYard are currently working very secretly behind the scenes. I hear like sort of like things that are alluded to during their Monday live streams. So I think there's some stuff coming, some pretty big changes coming, but I don't know for certain, and I'm just having a guess based on the conversation and topics. Knitspin Girl says she's used the Hobie acrylic sock with elastine for her dad. He's allergic to wool. How did it go? Was it good? I'm assuming it went okay. Unless you tell me otherwise. Okay, oops. Sometimes you need to put the stitch where the stitch actually has to go, Chantelle. Not where, just wherever. Just wherever doesn't work. Oh, a little bit of housekeeping I forgot to mention at the start is this week is the last Saturday of the month. So that means that for those of us local in Brisbane, we can have a meetup at the Kawanda Cafe. So all the details for that are over on the Fibrific Facebook page, not the group, the page, the public page. And you need to RSVP there. If you don't tell me in that group, or in that, it's not a group, it's a event. If you don't let me know in that event, I won't book a chair for you. I run all the numbers directly from that event. So, yeah, that would be absolutely great. If you wanted to come along, would happily see you there. The food there is wonderful. They give us a really lovely space to sit in, and we just have a really good time. We've done it last month, and it was so much fun. Oh, and this Girl says it was very stretchy to knit with, and he says they do tend to stretch out when he wears them. Oh, but they come back when he washes them. That's frustrating. Maybe it needs just a dash more of the elastine. We are nearly at the end of a row. Very exciting. I'm like watching this ball of yarn. It's dwindling. It's dwindling. Oh. And the other trick is you want to do the actual proper stitch, not some rando stitch that's not the one that's the right height. And time to flip it. Okay, so that's what the front looks like. Okay, and it's very textured. And this is the back. So it's a lot smoother, but it still has a texture. And there we go. Like, let me look here. The Regia Cotton socks is 72% cotton, 18% polyamide, and 10% polyester. Neither polyamide nor polyester will stretch. They're just versions of acrylic. Let me know if I am incorrect there, anybody who may know better. But as far as I'm aware, both polyamide and polyester are just acrylics, and they don't hold elasticity. Yeah, 4-ply for the socks. Yep, they come back into shape, but they do get bigger in his foot as the day goes on. Okay. Yeah, 25 for 100 grams. I mean, look, the reality is sock yarn is not cheap. It's just not. Like our hand-dyed 4-ply sock yarns, they're coming up to $40 now. You know, if you can find one less than $40, you snavel it because they're getting up there. Caffeinated Crafters, thank you. There's a link if you want to go and check that out. Most of us have lunch while we're there, but we're normally there till quite late. So if you can't make it for 11 or 12 or even 1, just make sure that you put in there that you'll come a bit later, and we'll keep an eye out for you. The yarn I used was Woolong, 63% acrylic, 30% bamboo, 7% elastane. Yeah, I think you definitely want we want the elastane. No, oh yeah, no, the booking's for 11. Yeah. Bub Curran says, hi everyone, I'm late as we have fires to block and rural firefighters to feed, and the boss has arrived to help with the fire. Bub, I really hope you're all keeping safe and that you're able to keep everybody else safe and fed and looked after. I know it's a tricky time at the moment in Queensland. We have a lot of bushfires happening, and I just really hope that you guys are good. Like, I really do. I don't know what else to say. The news has been pretty bad. We've had a really dry winter, and now, you know, not too far from me, there've been like dry lightning strikes, which has started fires. And so it's not anyone who's done anything bad. It's just it's ridiculously dry and sparks. So, yeah. Yeah, Leanne, with the 10, I know like just about everything else we do starts at 10, so I can see where your 10 came from in your brain, but no, we start there at 11. Thank you for all the kind messages going out to Bub in the chat here. The smoke's pretty bad, and smoke is one of my triggers for my asthma, so I'm trying to just keep out of it. Understanding that if that's the biggest issue I have because of the fires, then I'm pretty damn lucky. I know there's people having it a lot worse. Sue says we're on standby here as well. Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot happening. There's a lot. Oh, Bub, there's a firebug up near where you are that's actually intentionally lightning them. That's terrible. That is terrible. Excuse me. They want to watch out. There'll be a lot of locals who feel the same way. All right, we're coming up to the 30-minute mark on Leanne's super chat, which means, hang on, that if you want to trigger a re-roll or a veto, you can jump in. If you are a member, you can trigger a re-roll by using one of your green member chats, remembering you only get one a month. And then, or a yellow super chat, or an orange super chat like what Leanne used, will trigger a stop what I'm doing, and you get to choose the project out of the list of projects. So, yeah, the rules on how it works is in the description. And I will bring up and I've realized I don't have the graphic overlay for this screen. I'll have to fix that up for next time. Abby will be happy. We're getting a good few rows in here. And we are powering through it. Oh dear. All right, Leanne's 30 minutes. Oops, that's the wrong one. I wanted this one. I wanted the bats. The 30 minutes for Leanne's uninterrupted project is now over. I wish it didn't loop like that. I could just have it happen once. Let's stop. And then Chantelle jumped straight in with the spindle. So I'm like, oh, finish in the middle of a row? Okay. So Chintamani wants the spindle with the white floofs. So as Chintamani has opted to use a super chat of orange and above, she gets to decide. We'll pop that away somewhere safe so it's ready to rock and roll for the next time. Where's that yarn coming from? Spindle time. We have a little Turkish with some white floof. And you know why I'm calling it white floofs? Because I have no idea what floof this is. It feels like Duchess, honestly. I can't be certain, but let me just grab an additional camera angle for spindle time. And then we need to bring it in. Let me look here. There's a light right in my way, I can't see. There we go. So there we go. So, write down 11:10. So for the next 30 minutes, so 11:40 is when we do our spindle spinning. I might have to adjust some camera angles and stuff while I get this going. Didn't I do a stream using White Duchess on a spindle ages and ages ago, like last year? Yeah, yeah. And this is probably the exact point where I ended it off. Like, I've got projects that are in the process of being done that are just, I just need to stand it up a little bit more. There we go. That this is the thing. I have like got so many projects that need some time on them that I just haven't been giving them the time. So this is what we're doing here. So yeah, it probably is the Duchess. I've got to keep reminding to keep my hands over 2, under 1, over 2. Now, some people do really pretty wraps. I'm not one of those people. Like when I'm doing something in pretty colors, I tend to be more cautious with it. But when I'm just using white, I don't tend to be quite so, you know, careful. That's probably the word. I was demonstrating for the New South Wales Spinners and Weavers on Saturday, and we had some mini Turkish spindles for sale. That was super cute. Mini Turkish spindles are so much fun, honestly. You know what I need to do? I need to move the floof because I keep thinking I'm going to get it caught in the spindle. Oops. Well, this is awkward doing it over a table. Leanne says, yeah, I know. I'm one of these people, like, I'm like seeing the comments in here. It's like, you spin with the opposite hands of me. Yeah, I tend to spin with my left and feed with my right. My right fingers like to control the fibers. So yeah, spin with the left, feed with the right. But I'm just like, I need some floofs. So I'm just pre-drafting it just a little. It probably doesn't really need it, honestly. And I have a fan here, which is probably going to, you know, make it awkward. And blow the spindle into the fibers and end up wrapping the fibers all around the spindles. Oops, this way, Chantelle. And then pop it off for a wrap. Over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1. I got a bit thin for a second there, but I'll leave it. What's the chat happening? Duchess has the silk. Oh, this is the Castledale. This wouldn't be the Duchess. You're right. Chintami says, I find it interesting that it feels wrong when I try to swap my hands around. Yeah. I don't know for me, actually. I'd have to... Over 2 and... Oops. I don't want to change it over mid-project, but I know I can do it the other way. Let me know if everything drops out of shots or anything. I'm working around microphones and cameras and all that sort of stuff. It's all right. It's not. It's just. I just want to make sure I'm giving you guys the best view. And it's one of those things, it doesn't matter really which way you spin and ply, as long as the spin and the ply are opposite to each other. There's some purists out there who are like, you must spin one direction and ply the other. But as long as you know what you've done, when you're weaving, actually using yarns that have been spun and plied oppositely actually makes your weaving look even better. Oh, the floof's blocking the camera. Isn't the big wheel a lot faster? Yes, it is. Yes, but different. It's a different experience. This is also portable. Like, you can actually, it's actually easier to stand up and spindle spin than it is to sit. When I spindle spin sitting, I'm normally support spindling, which is the spindles in a little bowl and they sit on the table and it's a lot easier. This is a Turkish spindle, and it can go all the way. I'm just seeing how far up I can go here. Basically as tall as my arms will go, but my arms are short. But yeah. But it's just another fun way to do things. It's also a lot less expensive. So to put things into perspective a little, my spinning wheel, the big one that I use for spindling, is around $1,900 Australian. And these spindles are around $40 Australian. They both do the same job at different speeds and different ways, but they basically add twist to yarn, which is what a spinning wheel's job is to add twist to fluff to turn it into yarn. They're giant twisty machines. So, and if you get your pleasure from playing in the fluff, this gives you longer time playing in the fluff. But there are some people who can spindle spin just as fast as they can wheel spin. I'm not one of them, but there are people out there. If you're using a spin for crochet, is it better to spin Z and spin S and ply Z? No, apparently. I mean, I don't know this for certain, but from what my reading says, it's actually better to go the opposite way. Spin S and ply Z is better for English knitting. Spin Z and ply S is better for crochet and continental knitting. Apparently. I haven't really noticed any difference personally, but you know, it might make a difference to somebody. Do you also ply on the spindle? Yes, you can. I don't always, but you can. Sometimes I ply on the wheel, especially if I need to do it faster. You can get insanely fine yarns from supported spindles. Yes, you can, because the yarn doesn't need to be able to take the weight of the spindle. It doesn't need to be able to hold it and lift it off the table. So you can go much finer. You can go finer than thread on a support spindle. Hey Deb, it's good to see you in the chat. This is our third project for today. We started off knitting socks. Then Leanne came in with the orange super chat and changed us to crocheting Abby's blanket. Abby was so excited. And then Chintamani's come in with the orange super chat for spindle time. So, oh, you started the day with a migraine. That's not awesome. Have you been able to get it under control? I hope so. on, get on. Bub says that she's supported Spindle with her Turkish. Yeah, you can totally do it with the Turkish. Turkish do have a point on the bottom. So you can totally support Spindle into a bowl with Turkish. But I figured, sorry, I'll just whack the microphone. I figured best to continue on this project how I started it, which was sort of drop Turkish spindling. But last productivity stream, we finished spinning off the Beersheba's purple robin's egg in the Castle Dale as well, so that's ready for plying. Looks more tedious than hand quilting. I'll be honest, I definitely prefer to stand and do this where I can get longer sections spun before I have to pause and wind. But, you know, it's for the stream. Oh, Abby's, is that what you were giggling about? I could hear evil giggling. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if Abby read the rules, but she has to wait until this has been done for 30 minutes. So we'll end out the stream with Abby's blanket, which will start at 11:40. This has been fun. I wanted to, you know, give some kind of guarantee, like, for the time when people are super chatting. No, it's 15 minutes for the vetoes and the dice rolls, not for the you get to pay extra and choose the project. Chantelle is in there. Oi, Abby, wait your turn. Oh, that's so funny. Has read the rules and demands her blanket. I think 30 minutes is fair. Abby, you'll get your 30 minutes at the end of the stream. I want a refund. You can't have a refund. She's yelling at me. She wants a refund. You guys think 30 minutes is fair? I think 30 minutes is fair. That'll mean that Abby's is the last veto for the stream, because hers is 30 minutes, and I'll sit here 10 minutes after the stream and give her extra 10 minutes. She'll see it. No one else will. She'll see it. Or if you guys have got time, maybe I could just run 10 minutes long to give Abby her 30 minutes on camera. Let me know in the chat how you feel about that. It's Spin Girl says 30 minutes is fair. Rules are rules. Yeah. She's got to wait. Got a spindle for 30 minutes. I have to say, my hand's getting a bit sweaty, and this poor fluff. Next time I'll grab a little bit less fluff. No takes backsies. No take backsies. Abby's holding my new Grinch pajamas hostage now. Maybe I'll give her this blanket for Christmas. No. So funny. Francis is happy to go longer. All right, well, after I finish my 30 minutes of spindling, which we've still got some time left on, we'll make sure Abby gets her full 30 minutes of stream. Usually I'd be like, whatever, we'll just keep going, like if you guys keep super chatting and changing. But today I've got an appointment a little after the stream, so I can't hang out for too much longer. I just want to just quickly double check something here. I've just realized something. Abby is actually technically correct. We'll do it as we've done it for here, but technically speaking, these have all been yellow super chats so far, not orange. Orange is actually heaps darker. Okay. Because I just had this weird feeling. I thought the yellow was this color, and then I was just like, but for today's stream, we'll just keep it going with what we've agreed to already. And then next time I'll be, I'll know the colors better. If I'm going to rely on the colors, I need to know the colors. But then the other thing to remember is that these yellow super chats next week will actually just give you the option to re-roll, not to pick. And that's why Abby was confused with the 15 minutes versus the 30, because technically yellow gets you 15 minutes and a re-roll. Orange gets you 30 and a choice. So for future ones, yellow only means a re-roll. Yeah. So I think that's in the rules. Can someone double check the rules for me and make sure I've written the right thing? Because maybe I wasn't clear. Oh, I love the Snyder Flyer spindles. They're great. They've got such little long arms, but this is one of the little minis. Yeah, this week's a practice run. Absolutely. We've got to practice the technology. We've got to practice how it all works. We've got to see if it works. Oh, there you go. It's pretty clear. If you want to veto it, you can re-roll with a yellow. Yeah. Or using a green members chat. But the thing to remember is the re-roll may actually give you the project you want as well. Oh, me too. I'm really enjoying this. This has been a lot of fun. I honestly, I'm going to be really honest here. I didn't think anyone would choose any of them. So I was just expecting to go with what the dice said at the start for the project for the day. That's what I thought was going to happen. So I'm blown away and over the moon that you guys have jumped in and joined the game. But just remember also, members chats get you a re-roll as well. So if you are an existing channel member or you're thinking about joining as a channel member, you can use your monthly live chat for your re-roll. And if you're wondering how you can use a monthly live chat, you go to the same place that you go to do a super chat. And when you click that dollar note, there's actually a message there that says members milestone or something along those lines. And if you click that, you can type in a comment, and your comment could be, re-roll or something like that. I spun the wrong way. And now I have to rejoin my aunt. Artsock says, I'm not OCD. Changing projects willy-nilly is fun. Oh my goodness. So we did the 3 rolls already. We did them at the start of the stream. So when we realized the project for the day was not going to be the mosaic, I rolled the 3 numbers. We got 2, 4, and 7. And so I will crochet those through the week to get them done. But yes, I will crochet the colors off camera to keep that up so that next week, if the mosaic crochet is not picked again, we can choose roll 3 numbers, because there are people here using these dice rolls for their own projects. So we didn't want to stop and ruin it for everybody just because we decided to try something a bit different. Hey, Ab, you've been using your own credit card for this, hey? No, I've been using yours. You better not have been. Yeah. Apparently, Abby's been using my credit card, like our family joint credit card, to pay for them. I know, she's just gone, because I just had this thought, and she's like, no, I've been using, she told me she was using mine, and now she's just admitted that she used her own. Okay. Because that would be weird. I'd be like, nah, failed. I'm not paying for my own super chats. But no, she paid for it. Yeah, I definitely need a little less fluff in the hand for next time. It gets a bit warm. It's getting a little bit felty. Has anyone spun milkweed fluff? I have not. I could imagine you would need to be doing like a long draw for that. It'd be very short fibers, right? The weirdest thing I've ever spun with. The weirdest thing I've spun is recycled drink bottles. There's this fluff that you can buy where they shred it down and turn it into fiber. That's probably the weirdest thing I've ever spun. Paper's another good one. I've spun some paper. I did a Japanese paper spinning workshop. But I think the recycled plastic bottles was the weirdest. It was fine. It was a bit crimpy, actually. It was very fluffy. I've probably still got some around. I'll see if I can find it in one of my stash boxes. Yeah, it was very crimpy. It just felt like acrylic fluff, honestly. Oh, your weirdest is a rando sheep wool that was coarse and short. Oh, it might have been like something from someone's lawnmower. Not all sheep fleece is good for hand knitting. Some of it is meant for rope and carpet. And I think the weirdest thing I've worked with was strips of bread bags. I crocheted them. I just cut them into strips. I didn't twist them before I used them. Oops. The lawnmower sheep, yeah. So they're the sheep that people get that they're like, oh, I've got a pet sheep that eats all the grass in my lawn, but then the sheep itself is actually like a dorper or something that just drops its fleece, and it's not great for hand spinning. Like, I don't have to get it, Sean. Okay, we've finished that bit of fluff. Let's grab the next bit. I'll grab a smaller bit because it got a bit felty in my fingers because it's quite warm here. Oop. I'm like looking at that last sip of tea. I'm like, nope. I'll be really honest, I actually used some really nice fleece for my first spin. I still turned it into rope. But, you know, it was my first spin. I didn't understand how too much twist and makes it too hard. Still have no idea. I thought more it was a breed. No, it's more of a colour. Hey, life on Twitter and YouTube. It's good to see you here. Oh, that's coming undone. It's untwisting in my fingers. Let's not let that happen. I could be wrong about more, but I always thought it was a colour when it came to sheep's fleeces. More is a colour. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Brownish. Yeah. Oh, unless you're thinking of Castle Milk Morit, which is a breed. Okay. Righto. That's bizarre that they name a breed after a colour. I'm assuming the Castle Milk Morit are a brownish sheep. Well, like any sheep that's not pure white is considered a coloured sheep. Yep, Castle Milk Morit sheep are all brown. I see the tab on YouTube via mobile has moved from the top to the bottom. Which tab? Just out of curiosity. I know they're doing some big changes of the UI. So keep an eye out for some stuff coming through. They're rolling out a ton of stuff over at YouTube. So there'll be some things changing. Oops. There we go. Let it release. Up and over the microphone. Our profile tab. Okay. Oh, good to know. I'll have a look at that later on. I haven't seen it yet. last couple of days I've been using YouTube on my desktop, so I haven't done much YouTube watching on my phone. And library has changed to you. Oh, there you go. Vampire's off to make lunch. Bye, Vampire. Have an awesome day. Alrighty, we have hit the 11:40 mark. It is time to change over to the next super chatted project. So let me put this one away. I made this bag, you guys. See this? I sewed it myself. I'm very proud. Look, it's even got Yoda. Well, it's not Yoda, but yes, Grogu. But it could be Yoda. So that one's packed away. So now it is time to bring out Abbies. Abby's cheering. Abby's cheering. It's quite thick and padded. Oh, I didn't push the fluff down far enough and it's gotten caught in the zip. Hang on. Down you go, little fluffs. Let me just make sure that I fix that up. Fluff in the bottom, spindle on the top. There we go. So that the fluff doesn't get caught in the zip. But yeah, it's quite padded. I made this one for my spindles. Okay, back to Abby's blanket for the next 30 minutes. But next week, we need to keep an eye on the right colours. It was my bad. I should have realised it was the wrong colours. That's the ball we're not using yet. Will this be a future trend with Abby paying to get her waffle blanket completed faster? I don't know. She's just said she'll go bankrupt to get this thing done by Christmas. I bet you're wishing you had just paid for the yarn now, Abs. Oh dear. Let me have a look here. Oh, we can. Yeah, we can drop this other camera out. We don't need that. There, we're up to here. Okay, my hands feel weird after spinning, and now I'm like, I'll just crochet some. Feels a bit odd. It's a bit nicer on my arms though, not lifting them up and raise. Like I was getting a bit of a workout there with the spindling. I'll need to find a support spindle project, I think. I've probably got one there that I'm in the middle of that I just didn't spot. But, you know, we'll see. We're learning. We're learning how to make this process fun and how to make it work and all that sort of stuff. So Abby's blanket, I'm going to work on it now until 10 past the hour. So I will keep streaming. If you're able to stay, I'd love it if you would keep me company. But I totally understand if you've got other things to do, because it will be 10 minutes over our usual time. You'll definitely not get bored with your projects. Yeah, I think this week we've probably changed around a bit more because it's novel. Maybe in future live streams we might stick with 1 or 2 projects for the thing, but it's also kind of funny because I did think that there would be people who definitely wanted a particular thing done and there might be a battle to get their project done. I honestly just didn't expect it to be Abby. So yeah, I didn't expect it to be Abby, but this has been fun and just something a bit different and just getting in and trying out the new things. Life on YouTube says it's 2:44 a.m. in the UK now. Are you in the UK? I thought you were in the US for some reason. Holly says I'm here for as long as you are. Well, thank you, Holly. I definitely appreciate you sticking it out with me while I finish off Abby's, well, not finish it off, but work another half an hour into Abby's blanket. And I have to say, some of these projects have been put aside for a little bit while I work on something else. Now, this is not all of the projects that I have that need working on, but this was like a good number to not feel overwhelmed by. Um, so once one of these is finished, I've got others to come in and take its place. Or I could start something new. We could have a vote in a community post about which project to start next. And really, I love creating, and sometimes my biggest problem is choosing what to make next. So having people, yeah, having people help me choose is awesome. Oh, my profile banner has a UK flag on it. Oh, there you go. Sorry. I don't know if I've actually been to your channel. If I have, I didn't notice I don't know. I don't even know. I think people will strategize when to use their membership reroll smackdowns. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you do only get one membership chat a month. So, like one free membership chat a month. So, being able to utilize it for something is, I think fun. I think that's fun, and it would certainly work out because it's any level of membership gets the extra membership chat. So if you're someone who's thinking about maybe wanting to get in on this game and demanding re-rolls, you could jump in and choose a membership tier, and I think all the membership tiers are cheaper than a yellow super chat off the top of my head. So you might be able to do it that way, and then you get a free one each month. Oh, Kathy's put a photo of her waffle blanket in the fun zone. I'm going to have to go and check that out for sure. Kathy inspires me so much with her blankets. I'm trying really hard not to start a knitted stripe blanket after you shared that one last week in the special in the Stylecraft heathers, which I love the Stylecraft heathers. I don't like the special DK, but I really love the Stylecraft heathers. It feels different. And it looks beautiful. The colors are beautiful. So yeah. But I'm like, oh, what yarns could I use to make a... No, stop thinking that, Chantelle. You don't need to knit a stripy blanket right now. You got a pile of tops you want to knit, and you've got 14 projects waiting for you to make time for them. So the other thing is, all of these projects I can work on outside of the stream. So except for the mosaic crochet, I only get the pre-approved rolls put onto it. But yeah, all the other projects can be worked on. So next week's projects may be different if I finish something. I think the closest thing to finished is the silver ranunculus. But yeah, there we go. But yeah, so next week's list might be different. But there'll be 8 things. At this stage, we'll keep with the 8. I've got plenty enough that I can just keep rolling patterns through or projects through. But I will try and balance it out a little bit. At the moment, it's pretty crochet heavy. So I want to have a look at what I can do to balance it out a little bit. But I do need to get these crochet projects done. So they're done. There we go. I have to say, I don't mind working with these Karen cotton cakes. I thought they wouldn't feel as nice as they do. Excuse me, but they feel lovely. I worked with some a few years back to make some bags, and they felt really coarse, but I actually think it was because maybe I used a hook size too small and it made it really thick and dense. Whereas I've pushed up to the 5mm here, which is probably what I'll be getting a similar tension to anybody else using, say, a 4 or 4.5. And I think I used a 4 last time, which would be about a 3mm tension for anybody else. I crochet a bit loose. So I tend to, no, it's the other way around. So I'm using a 5. So this is probably the tension anyone else would get with a 6. It goes up for everybody else because I drop hook sizes. And I used a 4. So it'd be like a 5 for everybody else. Yeah, that's how it works. It's the other way around. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we tend to drop down a few towards the end of the stream like this. So that's pretty normal. It's pretty normal. We've been here a long time. We've been streaming for nearly 2 hours. So it happens. But yeah, it's good. Leanne says they are nice. I've made a scarf on the bias so the abrupt colour changes wasn't so noticeable. That's my peeve about them. Yeah, it is. They're pretty fast colour changes, I will say. That's something that I do appreciate. This particular stitch pattern does tend to blend in a little. Is that abrupt end of the colours. I definitely prefer how places like Hobie with their twisters and how Sheepies with their whirls tend to do their more gradual colour changes. I like those a bit better. I don't like the knots, but I like the actual look of the colour changes better. Holly says I made 12 bags out of the Karen cotton a couple of years back for a party, and they turned out really pretty. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Sometimes it's just, and they do have some colour choices. There's other colours as well. There was one called, was it Fairy? Something Fairy, and it was really lovely light teals and creams and stuff. I liked that one. That one was a good one. Bye, Arts Egg. See you next time. Have a good week. There we go. I'm gonna have some more of my tea. Bang. We'll have that come across again. The cat's pretty cool. I like the cat. I don't know if Abby's even watching the live stream. It's like she's paid her money to get the blanket worked on. What else have I got here? I've got ghosts. Ghosts are good. They move a little fast, I think. The ghosts. There's a witch. I forgot about the witch. There we go. Am I having fun with the overlays? Yes. Yes, I am. There was also this one here, which was a fun frame. There's a bat on my face. Get off my face, bat. And there's this one as well. Now there's an eyeball on my head. What else? I think that was about it. For the animated ones, anyway. I did have some fun. Yeah, I found some great graphics that I was allowed to use. It was pretty cool. I did enjoy it. Yeah, I started digging them out like day before yesterday and yesterday, and it was just like, oh man, I can't really use all of these, can I? It was like, oh yeah, you can. Like choosing a background that like you guys hardly get to see it all, but I'm like, I need a cute background. I need some cute graphics. I played with the lighting. So that when we started the stream, we had the more eerie look. We had like, because we didn't have the overhead on, or not the overhead, but the key light was off. So, you know, had some fun. Got all my lights set to like candle flicker, and all the colored lights are doing their own little things. So, yeah, the witch is fun, right? I'll make it go back to normal size there. That's what I want. But yeah, it'd be nice if you could like, I don't know, like that. I wish there was some more functionality. Like it'd be nice if I could like click a button and it actually like have an audio and a graphic at the same time, or set it so that it rolled through a couple of graphics. Like when it finishes this scene, move to this scene. That would be some cool stuff. I mean, I think I'm asking too much in all fairness, but that would be some cool things to have on StreamYard. Um, Now, like for those of you that are like, you know, that care, I've got Ecamm going into StreamYard as a virtual camera so I can have all my layers. And then I'm playing with all the graphics and everything over on StreamYard. So, yeah. YouTube on the laptop is now updated. Okay, I'll have to go and check that out. I'll jump in after I have some lunch. But yeah, I had a lot of fun setting this up. Next week we'll have some stuff, but it just won't be as Halloweeny, you know? Like we themed it up for the witchcraft. Will be like the second I was typing which craft will I be working on, like, and then my brain just went witchcraft and I just ran with it. So, I mean, I've had fun out of it. It'd be a bonus if you guys had fun out of it too, but I've definitely gotten some entertainment. So, and like the whole stuffing, like I'm like looking at my knitting, I'm like, I really need to go and pick that back up so that I can finish that off not in the middle of a row, because my fingers are like, I'm not like freaking out that I've finished these off in weird spots or anything. No, because the super chats told me it was time to change. Oh dear. I'm like, why won't that work? It's because I was trying to do the wrong stitch in there. Leanne tried to wait. Oh, Leanne, it was fun, right? You guys have been having fun in today's stream, something a bit different? So Abby's managed to get an extra hour out of her project on this week because Leanne changed it. Oh, Chintamani, I don't want to add that kind of rule. Like I was thinking about it, like let me finish in a reasonable spot. But what if I've just started a row, like just started a row and it's a long row or something? I can cope. I can bear. And then I'll sit down for like an hour after the stream, moving all the projects to somewhere like, better. It'll make me work on them. This is the thing. These are all my personal projects, so it'll make me work on them. Holly says, I've enjoyed the stream this week. That's great, Holly. I'm glad to hear that. Leanne says that no, she quite likes the disruption. I think secretly a lot of people like to cause disruption, and I think that's why this is going to be fun. Because there'll be options for people there'll be different options for people to get involved. So those of you that can jump in and super chat, that's great. You've probably got more choices for disruption. There are still limitations because I need to give value to everybody who creates a super chat. And then there is the members that get to use their members chat, so they get to get some extra value out of their members chat, which makes me so happy. And then even if you aren't a member or aren't able to super chat, when there's voting, you can get in and vote for free. But the vote is a dice roll. So, we have to roll an 8 to make it so that you can vote. But I'll show you quickly. I made screens. I made all these screens. So we've got the witchcraft for voting. There you go. So you can go in and actually vote on which one we wanted. So yeah, it was doing some. Whoops, Where are we? That's the one we want. You know, it took some preparation. Shannon says, I'm off to bed. I've had a great time. I think this was a great idea. I think it was a great idea that we all came up with. It was a big brainstorm, and I really appreciate, especially those of us towards the end of streams. This is where I tend to relax a little bit more. It's definitely, you know, I tend to chat more about what we could do and options, because like I figure those of you that stick around for the full 2 hours and are here at the end, like you may be less likely to click away when I start talking about plans for things. I don't know. I don't know how my brain works, but that's how it works. But yeah, I think Abby will be happy. Like I don't know how many extra rows. We definitely were in brown, so we've done a few extra rows onto our blanket. And I need to try my socks on to work out where they're up to, because if I won't do the heel turns on camera, just because I need to follow the pattern for the heel turn. But once I get past the heel turn, they'll come back into the mix. So I'll either try to get the heel turns done through the week, or I'll remove them from the mix for the week and pop in another knitting project. So that's what I'll be doing. The projects will be changing from week to week as things get completed or get into a spot where I'm not comfortable with working, if it's like a proper pattern. So, you know, like someone's designed it and I've paid for the design, or even if I, you know, even if I don't pay for it and it's a freebie, I won't do pattern specific things on camera. Like, this is a technique, this isn't a pattern. So I can work this whole project on camera, that's fine. But say, you know, the ranunculus, where I'm up to on my ranunculus is just all the rounding section. I've done all the detail. What type of heel am I going to do? I don't know. I'm going to check the pattern and see if I have some options. Otherwise, I'm partial to the partridge eye heel. It gives you a nice thick heel, and I kind of like that. But if I get to choose a heel, that's what I'm going to go with. If I don't, I'll just see what the pattern has. But it seems to be a very simple sock, so I can't imagine that it would be too hard to adapt so I could throw the partridge heel in. A stitch marker might make a... Oh, that's a great idea, Leanne. So put a stitch marker in where we start. I like that. Yeah. So we can see the progress. I've got big stitch markers. I've got another locking one. I'll dig it out. Oh, hang on. What have I done here? I was just working into the tops of them rather than doing front posts. Lucky I noticed. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I'll make sure I do that. Like with the floofs, you can kind of see how much floof gets used. But with the knitting and the crochet, sometimes, especially like knitting small things, it might be a bit hard to see exactly. Like, we got a couple of rows done before Leanne made me change projects. So those that knit and those that knit socks, do you have a favourite heel that you like to put into your socks if you've got the option? Here I was worried that I'd run out of yarn for Abby's blanket before we got to a point where I could run out and grab another ball, but I think we'll be fine. But I may have spoken too soon. Let's see how much yarn I can use up in 5 minutes. Because the ball that I've got here does not end in green or blue or whatever this colour is. Let's have a look here. So far I've just done the knit one, slip one, and the purl the wrong side. The heel flat and gusset fits my foot the best. I'd like the eye of partridge too. Yeah, the eye of partridge is just a bit extra squishy. I I've only knit 2 pairs and both used the gusset and heel turn. I've never tried anything else. Okay. Well, I would highly recommend that go and have a look at a few patterns. I mean, I'm a bit spoiled. I've got the Charlene Church books, and so her Sensational Knitted Socks books and more Sensational Knitted Socks. And the advantage of those books is that it's kind of like, you remember those faces that you could get different eyes and a different nose and then a different. Her books are kind of like, they're not quite flip books like that, but it's kind of the same idea in that you can be like, okay, I'm going to do a toe up with this kind of heel with this pattern in the leg and this sort of cuff and then this cast off. So it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, but they give you like a pile of different things to choose from. If you don't know the book I'm talking about, in my Fiberific Amazon store, which I think there's a link for in the description, there's a section on books, and I believe I've got the Charlene Church books in there. And I just think if you are someone who likes knitting and you're interested in knitting socks, definitely get your hands on those, because the other advantage is the patterns are not size specific. There's all instructions for all different sizes. And the patterns are not yarn weight specific. So you can actually go in, like there's all these graphs that tell you how many to cast on to get, you know, this size and this size weight of yarn. So it's really, it's an awesome resource book. So if you're someone who likes to knit socks or thinks you might like to knit socks, this would definitely, so get the Sensational Knitted Socks, so book 1, get that one first. It is an absolute resource. I don't know who put me onto it. I can't remember, but oh my God, am I ever so grateful? Absolutely. It's the first, when I'm thinking about making socks, it's the first book I go to every time. So yeah. Yeah, it's a slip stitch heel. But there's a pile of different heels that you can do, and some of them do different things. Some of them wear better, some of them are more cushiony, some of them are prettier. There's some of them just look different, so they're just aesthetically different, and they wear the same sort of speed and what have you. So like I know there's also like the Afterthought heel and the Fish Lips heel, like there's a pile of them. There's a pile of heels. But a friend of mine put me onto the Partridge Eye, and then I found it in the book to learn how to do it, because I was watching her knit socks and I was like, what is that heel? Oh, those books aren't on my Amazon list. Are you kidding me? I will go and add them after the stream. If you go to my Amazon store and then actually just search them up, I'll still get a commission, just saying. I'm just following the pattern for these socks. But if I get the opportunity to change the heel, I will. Other than that, I will keep the heel that's in the pattern. I'm dubious. Like, are you finding you're getting good length? Like, because Kelly and I are both making the same socks. You're further ahead than I am. Are you finding, like, because the pattern says it uses 1 ball of yarn to do the knee-high socks. Are you thinking that that's even a remote possibility? Like for me, look, I've got wide legs. It was never going to be a possibility. But if I can get out of it for 2 balls of yarn instead of 3, I'll be happy. Oh, what have I done there? That's supposed to be another front post there. Dolores, hello. Your hands are full eating a hamburger. That sounds lovely. I'd love a hamburger, I think. I haven't had just a plain, proper hamburger in ages. You've been loving the stream today. Abby says, I'm working on it, Abby. I'm working on it right now. This is your blanket. So bossy. So bossy. Oh, Abby's just yelled out that she was actually behind in the stream. So Any minute. I've actually just got like, technically speaking, it's 10 past, so I should stop, but I've got like half a meter of yarn, so I'm just going to finish off the ball. So I'm only a little bit in front. Still can't tell yet. 100 gram for knee-high socks. That'd be great, but I don't like my chances. Yeah, I'm the same. I've just tried Hermione's Everyday Socks. It has a garter edge eye of partridge heel flat. Makes picking up the stitches easy. Yes, I've made the Hermione's Everyday Socks. That's a great pattern. Especially if you've got like a super variegated yarn, like, or really color heavy yarn. It really is just something fun to do that still looks good, like a little bit of a pattern that still looks like doesn't drown in being overly busy. Oh, there we go. I'm at the end. I might just pull back a couple of stitches there so that I've got enough to join on with. Okay. Let us go back here. You guys, I really want to say a massive thank you to those of you that have hung out from the start all the way. Let's go back to our darkness. We'll turn that off. There we go. That's a bit more creepy and eerie, right? It's been so much fun just doing something different and having you guys in control of the project I'm currently working on. I love that a lot. It's a lot of fun for me. I have especially enjoyed setting up like the mood, setting up the mood, making it like a little bit more Halloweeny and a little bit more. And as the girl said, it's not nighttime here. I've got blankets up over windows and what have you to make it dark. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun and I've really enjoyed it, and I very much appreciate those of you that dropped in the super chats to trial to trial the new gameplay and to see how it works. I really appreciate it. I love that this was our test run this week. Next week will be better. Less Halloweeny, but we'll understand the rules of the game a bit better. It's like any new game, right? We've all got to learn the rules. The mood is legit. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it's been so much fun. I've had such a good time for this stream. So thank you all so much for being here and for being part of it. I will see you all next week for more random projects. So Witchcraft, we're going to keep calling it Witchcraft. So Witchcraft will be back next week. So have an awesome week. You can work on your projects as well and let me know how they're going over in the fun zone. And I can't wait to hear how it all goes. I will see you next time. Yes, I will update my books. I'll go and update my books right now. Bye now.